Welcome Diana and Tim back to Livsenergi. We're so happy to have you here.
Hi Alexandra, thank you. We're very happy to be here.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah.
You both look so healthy and shiny.
Very kind of you to say so. Thank you.
In January.
Yeah, for January it's actually
it's actually lovely out there.
It's
a bit of color and a bit of awakeness, I guess.
Have you got snow and freezing cold where you are?
No, we are actually having a mild winter, which is opposite, or what we didn't think that. We think that we would have like a really cold winter, but so far, but we're waiting for it in February. Normally it comes, so we normally have a cold and white February.
It'll get you eventually.
We have white, and it's been frost, not snow.
It has been frosty, actually. A couple of nice ones.
Very.
I'm more into your climate. I am. Are you? Yeah, it's better for me. Yeah.
It's funny because then over here we kind of like, I could do with a bit of snow, and then it's been here for a week and the whole country's ground to a halt. You can't buy bread or milk. Brits are panicking everywhere, sort of thing. So
yes, I'm not keen on the ice, but I like it cold.
Yeah.
So you just told me you have been walking along the beach. So what have you been talking about during your beach promenade?
Well, we've been talking about the golden future for the planet, which is a very exciting subject and which we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
We talked about, what else did we talk about?
Been talking about how many people that we're actually starting to see wake up around us with our
especially
different
men.
Yeah, men. It's going to be, I believe, as a man, this is going to be the year that the men start catching up a bit, because let's face it, it's been a very divine feminine kind of dominated spiritual scene so far, hasn't it? And everyone's like, where are the men? Where are the men? Sort of thing.
Yes, they always
say
say
under
that.
the table, sort of thing. Like there's only two.
You feel alone, Tim.
Yeah. Now this is the year where they start catching up.
And a lot of really macho men are starting to wake up too.
That's the one.
I hope you're
the ones that have always been, we are the masculine energy, leave that stuff to the women. Oh, not at all. They've been quietly
simmering,
watching and waiting.
What do you think pulls them over the threshold? Like, what is it that
for me, it's the rising light on the planet.
Yeah.
And that is inevitably touching everybody. Waking everybody up. Now, people are so pessimistic about the future, and yet it's inevitable that we're going to rise into something so much better, that the frequency everywhere is lifting. That's why all the old energies, the third dimensional paradigm is collapsing, because they can sense, and they're fighting so hard for control on the planet, that they can sense the light rising, and that they know that the time is numbered.
Yeah.
By 2032, there will be a new fifth dimensional blueprint for the planet. Say your bit, Tim.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's one of the questions that I get asked a lot, and this is kind of diverging back to what we're talking about with the men. It's like, why have there been so many more women on this pathway than there have been men? And I kind of looked into this. I was like, why? What's the deal? And the conclusion I came to is that automatically, naturally, women are closer to their hearts than men have been. So the journey from ego to love is much further. The bridge is much longer for the men to traverse, because it's been such a masculinely dominated planet for the last 10, 20, 30,000 years or so. So they're naturally that much closer. So the boys are catching up now, and that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling.
No, I absolutely agree. The masculine domination is now coming into balance, and that's what we were talking about, the base chakra, weren't we?
We were.
How the base chakra is about the balance of the masculine and feminine energy, and when it's fully in place and anchored and fifth dimensional, you feel totally safe and secure. You absolutely trust spirit. If it's third dimensional, it's seeking, it's in survival. This is why there's so much anxiety on the planet. If it's going too fast, then you're anxious. If it's going too slowly, then spinning too slowly, then you're depressed. And this is why it's really important that people get their base chakras balanced so that we can move forward into something so much better, where everybody feels safe, secure, trusted. And the universe then responds to that energy by bringing in the safety and the security and the trust.
It's so lovely to hear you talk about this, because for you it's so natural, and everything just, you're just waiting for everything to fall into place, kind of thing. And to hear this is your discussion theme during a walk. And it's nice. I would have not the same conversation, but also a deep conversation with my colleague, for example, if we went for a walk. But from most other walks in life, it's not that kind of discussion. It's more of, right now we have abandoned the topic of COVID in the house.
Ah, good.
For people, because we are, how do you say, when you have a heavy feeling of you don't have to invite COVID.
No.
More than already here.
When people discuss something on a continual basis like this has been a talking point for 2 years now. At one point, everybody was talking about it. So everybody's experiences, fears, perceptions were placed into like what would look like an iCloud, a shared field.
Yeah, and the BBC and all the other news channels.
Of it. So the second you talk about it, you tune into that and all of the emotional responses that are involved with that. So therefore, it's a trigger point. It's a weight.
But this is why I think it's so fabulous that the new variant is called Omicron. Is it called that in Swedish? So you've got Om. As soon as you mention it, everyone's saying Om. And then you say I. And then you say crone. So that's the crown chakra. The crone is the wise woman. And so you are unconsciously triggering that wisdom and the spiritual wisdom. And somebody actually wrote and said to me, because I put this in a newsletter, somebody said, oh, but it also has a very dark meaning. And I don't know anything about that. it just depends where your intentions lie, what you draw to you. And people are saying it, and they're going Ikron.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I hadn't heard of that. I hadn't thought of that actually. It's it also means 0 micron.
Right.
0 micron meaning doesn't exist.
Okay. Right.
There you go. Break that down.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah. So it's kind of,
and I like that, that you said also, Diana, about it does have a meaning of where your intentions are. If this is something that you want to think of as something dark, or if you want to think of it as something positive.
Well, sometimes people say to me, oh, I've done your Zoom on this and I felt wonderful, but how do I keep it going? And the answer is feed it. Redo the exercise, think about it again.
Yeah, that's very true. So thank you for a fantastic introduction about walks with meaning. And I just want to shortly introduce the two of you, Tim and Diana. Diana Cooper, Tim Wilde. You have written more books, perhaps. Maybe you are on to your third book already together. Diana, you have plenty of books in history.
Yeah, I've written 3 or 4 books since that one came out. But
I contributed to the first 2 in the Archangel Guide series, didn't I?
You did.
I have to update myself with all the books that you have written. In Swedish, we have now 2 books. So we started with this one.
Okay.
Archangel Guide to
Ascension.
And then the next one coming out in a few weeks is this one. So they're both purple. It's your original covers. And this one is called The Archangel Guide to Enlightenment and Mastery. Lovely. So this will be the books in the book club that we have called Livsenergi or Life Energy. And the first one was so well received. It was very popular. So we just a week after that period was finished, we signed the contract for the new book.
Lovely.
Lovely.
So this is a follow-up. We just thought,
which is different, but also brilliant. It gives a lot of information, but about mastery. And it's interesting that we've just had a pre-conversation about the base chakra, because as soon as the base chakra is fully in situ, then you're on your road to both mastery and enlightenment. When it's fifth dimensional, it's very important.
And on Earth right now, do we agree that we are living in the third dimension most of the time? No. Tell us.
There's the way that I view it, there's almost like there's three realities that are kind of merged with each other. There's the programming of 3D, okay, the third dimension as a planet. That's not the reality that we're existing anymore, but there is the programming that existed for a long period of time during that, and that's what is fueling a lot of the reactions. Where we are at the moment, we are in the fourth dimensional window between 3D and 5D, and of course we've got it's like a road straight through the middle.
The fourth dimension is when you've got your heart open and you're intending, your intentions are starting to move towards the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I would, very much. But it's also a little bit like a bowl of spaghetti with all of the different energies in it at the moment. And the whole idea behind it is get these strands of spaghetti in a straight line so you can organize them. It's a transitional period, so it's going to be messy. There's going to be stuff going on that's chaotic. But
this is such an important time, and as you know, the old era, which wasn't just 26,000 years of a cosmic era, it was the end of a cycle of 10 cosmic eras. So it was the end of a 260,000 year period. So I mean, we have drawn the ability, we've drawn the short straw or the long straw, whatever it is, the amazing chance of being here during the 20-year period between 2012 and 2032, the start of the new golden age. And so that is going to be a period when the entire old paradigm breaks down and the new comes in. The analogy I give is like you're going to have a new kitchen put into your house. And so all the old units have to come out. There's dust and dirt everywhere. But this time, you're not just having a new kitchen put in, you're having a bigger kitchen put in. So the walls have to come down as well so that it can be expanded. And this is exactly where we are now. So at the end of 2022, that rubbish will all be removed and we will be starting to consolidate to hold the vision of the new kitchen coming in. That's where we are on Earth right now. And that's why
you just pointed out a very important thing to me. I hadn't realized this yet. So between 2012 and 2032, so in the middle there is 2022, and this is where we are today. So we're halfway through that 20-year window.
Bang on.
Very important,
Can we discuss this a little bit more to give some hope and to give some inspiration? What else do we see in 2022?
I think what we see is people saying enough is enough of the control energies that have been trying to grip the whole world, and people power coming in, people protesting and saying enough of that. And because we are in the middle of where the economic system collapses everywhere, where the schools, the education systems, the health services everywhere. So where people are being called on to take responsibility for their own health and start moving towards the new and the natural methods. And this, which is a very interesting time when the pharmaceuticals have taken such control. That has to end. and the new will then come forward. And education, again, so many children and parents are saying this is no longer suitable for our children. The new children coming in are very different from the old children. Many of them have their 12 strands of DNA already activated, but they can't express them because the frequency in their homes and around them is too low. As soon as the inexorably rising light comes to a certain level, they will be able to connect, and then their massive gifts will come forward. So I think that the most important thing to do now is to focus on the vision of where we're going into the golden future and the amazing possibilities and the different consciousness of the time ahead. It's the consciousness, isn't it, Tim?
It is.
That's going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah. And I think this year is going to be so telling, because we're going to start actually seeing the results of the energy that we're putting in. We're not just talking about it in our little clusters and our private groups anymore. We're actually starting to see the tangible effects of what's actually happening around the world starting to manifest and occur in the reality that we are choosing to exist in. It's going to be massive. Every month in 2022 is going to reveal movement forward.
I think so too. I think this is a really, really important year.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the last year of the purification of the planet.
Yeah.
So that's the last year for the major hurricanes and earthquakes and things. But of course, any place on the planet that isn't cleansed that has to happen now. And mainly for 2022, it's going to happen with flooding. I think we're going to see a lot of that. But, some things are written in stone. This is what we were also talking about earlier this morning. Some things are written in stone, like the Olympic Games had to take place in London in 2012, because that's the Earth Star Chakra of the planet that had to be activated by people all over the world focusing on it in 2012. So it didn't matter how many nations consulted or put in tenders, that was going to take place in London. 2032 is also one of those times, but in between we can put love, energy and peace into the planet and change the progress of the journey. So every individual can make a massive difference to what's happening on the planet and how it happens.
And how can we do that? I am quite sure your books are a good help.
Yes.
My guidance is always to keep your eye on the prize. Okay, no distractions. So the path of least resistance, or the smoothest way from 3D to 5D. Okay, because all alongside, if you look at it like it's a golden pathway, you're moving from one vibration to another, but it's like walking along a bridge. On either side of it, there's things that are trying to distract you off that bridge to knock you off it. And I would say that's very much where the kind of the play from the media is coming in at the moment, and all of the what it looks like a carnival at the moment, doesn't it? It looks like just like all of this noise and all of this stuff going on in politics and the media and everything like that, and that is very distracting. If you get drawn into that drops your vibration. You need to know what's going on. You need to be informed, but not emotionally invested in it. So the way to stay is just to keep your vibration as high as possible. Whatever raises your vibration, work with it. And it comes down to spiritual discipline, because it's very easy. It's very easy to get engaged in all of these different dramas, all of these different distractions. Ultimately, it's down to us. It's our personal responsibility to stay on course as much as we possibly can.
But there are things that we can practice, like you can watch yourself and say, am I kind? Am I really using that energy? How can I change my vibration so people feel welcome towards me? The new age is about oneness. It's about welcome, community, people doing things together for the highest good. And I think that every individual can think carefully, is this action for the highest good? Am I helping this person with my thoughts even or not? I think watching thoughts is so important, because we don't realize that that person is picking up your thoughts just as clearly as if you're actually saying the words.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking judgmental thoughts and at the same time you're saying something pleasant, you are sending them a very confusing energy, and that's holding them back, and it's holding you back as well.
I have a funny relationship to that. Right now, I play a lot of paddle. Do you know paddle? Paddle. It's like it's a paddle tennis. It's called. It's a sport.
Oh yeah.
So you're 4 people on the course. You are actually playing in teams, and if one of the team members are having a bad day or being angry on herself for doing a bad, hitting the ball bad or something like that, the rest of the team feels that. I understand what you're saying because I feel it a lot.
I often tell a story of a friend of mine who went to a beauty spot and there was litter everywhere. And she just was thinking how dreadful this was. And this voice came down to her and it said, and what about the psychic rubbish you're leaving with your judgmental thoughts? And it's like, whoa, that's always stayed with me. And now I've trained myself. The first thought, if I see some rubbish, the first thought is, bless the person who dropped it. Bless them with self-worth and a feeling of belonging. Because if you have self-worth and belonging, you don't drop rubbish. You don't litter your own nest. And at first, I used to have the same judgmental thoughts, but I then would replace them with a blessing. And now it literally is the first thing I think, bless that person who dropped it.
Does this have to do with mastery?
I suppose it does.
It does, yeah. I mean, mastery is the management of yourself in a higher frequency form. So to adopt a mantle of mastery means that you have to walk through a pre-designated set of initiations or gateways that you will have set by, you will have agreed to go through them. And each gateway is a step. Every time you step through this gateway, you walk into a higher vibration. And mastery is mastering yourself in physical and your environment rather than it mastering you. Because the whole of the third dimension, we weren't in control of our environment. It was very much a survival. The whole thing was about survival. Like, how can we survive on this hostile rock sort of thing, or just get by? And now we're getting to the point where we've realized that, or we're in the process of realizing that we're master manifestors, we're creators. We chose this experience, so we are going to master it as opposed to it mastering us. That's very much where I think it lies.
Yeah, it's about taking responsibility for everything, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But it's interesting because this year contains the 22nd of 2022. In other words, 22/02/2022. So that is triple. 22 is the number of mastery.
Yeah.
And it's the number of manifestation and mastery. And so it's tripled on that date. In fact, Tim and I are doing a Zoom together on that date, aren't we? About manifesting through that mastery. Because I think it's so important. And we're given that opportunity this year with that energy coming through. It's amazing.
We've talked a lot about 2022. Can we just look back, since we're so close to the transition between the 5th year 2021 and the 6th year 2022, can we just have a look back, a quick look, and listen to both of you? What do you take with you from 2021? What learnings and perhaps
last year was nothing short of incredible, because it was, first of all, it was a year of revelations. It was the year that people started actually beginning to see, like the veil was removed from the third eye, but there's I think it's the fifth veil of amnesia came away collectively from the third eye, which gives people the opportunity to see the truth from a higher perspective. But you can remove the veil, but it's a little bit like you can take a horse to water, but you can't necessarily make it drink.
Yeah.
So it's taken time for people to actually begin to see reality around them for what it actually is. So there was a massive amount of that occurring last year, but also we began the very intensive purification of ourselves on the spiritual pathway in order to step through the gateway, having made that soul choice. That's what last year was about.
I would say last year was governed by Saturn, and that is about discipline and restriction. And this is how everywhere they were able to put in controls and restrictions, because people received the message, follow the rules from the universe. Now, and last Christmas, it's governed by Jupiter, which is about expansion, opening out. Won't be so difficult to keep controls in place when you've got Jupiter there saying, no, do what's right for you, do what's right for your soul, expand, move things forward. So, and also Jupiter is about happiness and joy and bringing more of that in, which I think is really important for what's going on now, because people have been very down. And actually, we are moving into something totally amazing. Now, that point when your kitchen is just in pieces around you and there's dust everywhere and you're saying, oh my God, is it ever going to end? And then you say, yeah, but look, here's the plan. Look what you're going to have. And it's coming. It's almost there. You know, the next few years is a twinkling of an eye in cosmic terms. And we've got so much to do, just waiting for that to manifest.
So until then, we have to just master ourselves, self-leadership, and go into this light and awareness.
I think it's also quite important that the people who have acknowledged their spiritual pathway be ready for the influx of new souls as well, because everybody on the spiritual pathway has something to teach. And of course, there's a huge amount of people at the moment that are waking up fast. I mean, like in all walks of life, places and people that you would not have even expected to suddenly be operating on that vibration. They're going to need guidance. They need to have people around them that are grounded, rooted, strong, disciplined and focused. And that's very much what we are kind of expecting and experiencing around us at the moment, I feel anyway.
Yeah. And the more people that gather together on Zooms or whatever, and they are sending out that vibration, it has a huge effect. We were just saying the other day, I was doing a Zoom and Paul the Venetian, who carries the flame of freedom, kept coming to me beforehand. And he's not a master I've worked with. But 3 times he came to me and said he wanted to come into that Zoom and give the flame of freedom to everybody. So we did that. And about a week afterwards, he came to me in the woods and he had his hands held out like this. And I held my hands out to him and I said, did we make a difference? And he said, more than you can have any possible concept of. And I say that because we don't realize what a difference just one individual can make, sending their energy around, touching everybody else. And when groups get together, it's massive.
That's a lovely story, actually. And it's very cute to hear that you were able to ask him and for yourself also understand what kind of difference. Because all these subtle little changes, sometimes we need confirmation that what we're doing actually matters.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you just feel you're working in a void.
Yeah, it's true. But you work a lot with people, both of you, because you're doing Zooms and so on. Do you have interactive Zooms, or do you also feel a lot that you preach or you send messages, but you don't get any interaction?
There are constant streams of questions and comments going on the chat. and which I try to take. And then people send emails, all sorts of things afterwards, and
it is an interactive process.
I think it's very interactive.
It is, yeah.
It's a constant learning as well.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear. I know that your followers are very happy to have you as a guide. Guides along the way, because it's a long way. It's a big portion of life still, even though it's positive and fun on the way as well.
Yeah.
So, talking a little bit about this fantastic book, can you tell us a little bit about it, the reason you wrote it and what you want readers to bring with them?
Well, we wrote it really as a sequel to the Ascension book, that so many people wanted to know more about mastery and about enlightenment, which is more than just the opening of the third eye. It's the crown, it's everything beyond that, helping them to be more spiritual. So we wrote about the expansion of each of the chakras and what that meant. And Lord Kuthumi, we were very keen on Lord Kuthumi.
He had a huge part in it, the halls of learning, and the book includes each one of the halls of learning in his mighty universities of Sirius. And we were also working we kind of dived back into the Atlantean energies as well.
We certainly did. And I think we did quite a lot to introduce Lord Vuslu, who was the highest frequency high priest ever to incarnate in Atlantis. And he came in with the keys and codes in his energy fields that enabled the jump shift into the legendary golden age that we know now. And so he has come back as the master of the 10th ray, is it? And he is working with us now to help us jump shift into the new golden age right now. So we can tune into him and receive his codes to help us do that. And so we talked about him and many of the other masters. And the temples of Atlantis.
The temples of Atlantis. We had a lovely conversation about that before we decided to write about the temple, because obviously you've written my Atlantean go-to, Discover Atlantis.
And I remember that.
And we were like, shall we actually do this? And you were a little reticent at the start, so because it's such a huge subject. It's vast. It's a vast subject. So we're like, no, let's write about the temples: the temple of love, the temple of the sea, the temple of Poseidon, temple of night, and it was wonderful bringing this through.
Because then, of course, when we do that, you do the meditations yourself, and the energy comes through to you as well.
And it just opens all of these different gateways, and it's bigger. There's so many triggers in this book that will begin aspects of journeys for people that will not actually have been there otherwise. There's a lot of triggers, a lot of energy triggers in there.
And the other thing I think that's really important about this book is that it's entirely fifth dimensional. So all the time you're reading it, you're held at a fifth dimensional energy. And there are other threads in that are even higher dimensional frequencies. So it holds you there and helps you to, maintain that frequency.
It's a very important point, actually, because that we talked about that when we wrote it, and when the energy of the book came through, it was like, wow, this is actually we were bringing it through, but to start off with, we could only manage like 20 minutes, half an hour at a time. That's like, oh, have a rest, because it was coming through at such a high frequency, and we're translating it and putting it into a readable format. And I can remember it was the birth. It felt like a birthing of a project.
And there are ninth dimensional frequencies in there. And so it's really the first time that people on Earth have been able to access energies that high, those frequencies. Because
you're also talking about ninth dimensional,
which is a very, very, very high frequency. The unicorns have started to bring those energies in, especially, and some of the great masters. And so just reading your words with that vibration takes you up to something so much higher.
Yeah, of course. You are talking a little bit about unicorns, or especially dragons. You're bringing in the dragons to us here. Can you tell us a little bit about the dragons?
Yes, I love the dragons. I wrote the book, The Dragons, and
Yes.
very interesting because, of course, they are fully of the angelic realms. People don't realize this. They have wings. They work fully on that frequency, and they have been around Earth right from the very beginning, helping Earth to expand, helping to protect people, helping to bring in other energies. And there are different kinds of dragons, from the Lemurian dragons, who are all healing dragons and who literally put that healing energy into you, help heal situations and part of the planet, help the Lemurians place the crystals in the earth, which are the great healing crystals that we know now. And then there are other dragons from other planets, and these are the very high frequency ones that are coming in for the first time now to help raise our frequency. But every night before I go to bed, I ask the fire dragons to come in and put my whole house into a firewall of protection. And you can see them coming round and putting those flames, etheric protective flames around. And if it's a very powerful protection too. And I send them to protect my journey. I'm going on a journey, to go in front and clear the pathway. And while they're doing it, to go down into the earth and clear any earth energies there as well. And they will do that. So what I always say is, if you're thinking about a place, you're watching the news, send the dragons in to clear the energies, the lower energies. Then send the angels in to help the people and to sing a higher frequency to hold the people. And then call in the unicorns to pour higher blessings and hold the frequency as high as possible in that place.
I can see that in front of me when what you're doing, what you're visual, because it's also about visualization, isn't it?
Sure.
If we look back then, also about 2021 and on Earth, what happened on Earth? What were our learnings, our achievements? You talked a little bit about that already, Tim. What did we take with us? The big, 3 or so points. What would you say?
Stay in your lane. Pick your target. Stay in your lane. Be focused. Be dedicated. Be disciplined. Be kind. Work from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And also just be aware of what your truth is and hold your truth and your own vision. Don't let other people influence you. There's just so much false stuff going on at the moment.
Discernment.
In every way. Discernment.
Discernment.
Yeah. And I'm a Virgo, and discernment is the
It's
lesson
massive,
of Virgos.
yeah.
I get plenty of
What does
lessons.
discernment mean? Help me out.
Looking to see what the vibration of truth is, and deciding to follow. If somebody comes up to you and they appear to be very honest and they're saying very attractive things, what is really going on? Yep. Can you really trust that politician? Can you really trust the salesman? Listen to your own inner, what feels right. And I think that's a big lesson for last year.
Yeah, that's a good one, because we can feel the truth.
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah, I think this whole time is about listening to your intuition, your gut feeling about things.
It's very true.
It's the only way we can get through the false information, the fake emails, the fake everything that's going on right now. Hold the vision of the beautiful golden future that we're moving towards. Try to live it as much as you possibly can, because at all that time you're influencing other people to live there with you, and listen to what feels right for yourself.
Yeah. So before we have this book in our hands, is there anything you would suggest? I mean, we have thousands of readers who have the first book, so they're already in tune with what you're saying, but to all the others, and also them who have this book at home but perhaps didn't read it yet, how can we prepare for the next book? Is it through a good bridging visualization, a meditation, or how can we prepare ourselves?
It's a good question, actually.
It's about being aware of your fifth dimensional chakras.
Yeah.
Start bringing them in, and then the book will give you an expanded version, higher energies for each of the chakras, and what you can do to bring them to a much higher fifth dimensional frequency. Because the fifth dimensional starts here, but it goes up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
It's not just one place and you're in the fifth dimension. You can be in the higher fifth dimension. This book aims to prepare people to be much brighter lights for the future.
So even if you're shining today, you can always shine brighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time we go to sleep and we wake up, where we are at the moment, we are waking up in a higher frequency than we were the day before. So we are keeping up with that. It's a constant state of preparation, discipline, and spiritual integration.
Good point. Yeah.
It's a constant process. There's no what you would call downtime anymore. There's no break in the proceedings. It is just moving forwards continuously and there's periods of time where it's coming through at a little bit more of a relaxed rate, but then all of a sudden we'll get walloped by a huge amount of energy coming in at, say, one of the solstices or a magical date like the 22nd of February. There's certain designated portals of energy which really jump the frequency, and this didn't used to happen. It's only more of a recent thing that's been occurring. So we're constantly in a constant state of forward movement.
So be ready for it. Just
be ready.
Prepared. Stay grounded.
Yeah, grounded.
Grounding is so important. People don't realize how important it is to walk, not on concrete, because that blocks the energy flow coming up to you. Walk in nature, on grass, on a path. And that is so, so, so important.
You were talking about the fifth dimensional chakras. Are they specific chakras, or are you just talking about them as being fifth dimensional?
We're talking about the 12 chakras that we should be having right now. At the end of Atlantis, 5 of them were withdrawn. And so we then were third dimensional with only 7 chakras. Those are now being returned for everybody. In fact, if you talk about the 7 chakras, you are holding people in the third dimension. So if you go to a class, a yoga class, for example, and they're talking about the 7 chakras, leave it, because they are holding you back. It's really, really important. Focus on your 12 chakras, and then you are starting to connect at a much higher level, and you're automatically moving into or being in the fifth dimension.
Where would we have the 12 chakras? Could you show?
Want to go through them, or should we do each one in turn?
Yeah.
Why don't we do it as a little meditation? Would you like?
Please. I would love that.
Okay. We'll just close your eyes for a few moments and just take a few deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just bring your attention now to the soles of your feet. And as you've got your feet on the floor and the soles of your feet feel grounded and secure and attached to the earth, be aware of a beautiful silver or maybe hematite grey ball below the soles of your feet. And this is your Earth Star chakra. Take a few moments to tune into it. Just be aware that it is anchoring you into the higher magnetics and the light frequencies that are constructed of Gaia now. And just really feel yourself here, anchored in on the planet.
And then take your attention up to your base chakra, the base of your spine. Be aware of any old red energy in this chakra just being flung out as your chakra spins. And beautiful platinum light coming in. And the platinum light is shimmering. holding you in balance. There are 2 chambers in this chakra: the divine masculine, the divine feminine, constantly holding you in love and protection. And as this chakra gets brighter and clearer and bigger, you are totally protected and cared for and nurtured by the spiritual realms.
And then moving up from the base, just become aware of your sacral chakra, which is no longer orange, it is a beautiful, soft rose pink. Now, the sacral chakra governs all of your relationships with the people around you, your partnerships, your family, your friends, your work colleagues. And the blueprint which governed our old relationships has been clearing for the last 8 or 9 years or so. So just be aware of the soft, radiant pink emanating from this chakra. And also be aware that it is calling your soul family to you at the moment, after all of the clearing, after all of the blueprints, after all the relationships that you may have had. Your sacral is now calling high frequency, supportive, loving, spiritual relationships into your life. Just breathe into that chakra now.
And then your attention is moving up to your navel chakra, which is bright orange and is one of the chakras that was withdrawn at the end of Atlantis. Now it's back in your chakra column. And as this radiates this magnificent, warm, caring orange from you, you are feeling one with everybody, every animal, every creature on the planet. This is about creating community, and community energy is coming to you, is being drawn into your life. Breathe into this chakra, helping you to live for the highest good of all. And this is also very powerful chakra of manifestation. So hold a vision that you have now. And know that as we move through this meditation, that energy will move up and go out of your soul star chakra to come into manifestation at a very high frequency. So breathe into that vision now.
Now just very gently move your attention from your navel to your solar plexus. You might even want to place your hand upon your solar plexus at this point. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, be aware of the beautiful, radiant gold color of your solar plexus. Feel its vibrancy. Feel the beautiful emanations that extend from your solar plexus to the area all around you. Now just check in with this chakra and ask it, at this moment in time, is it filled with love or is it filled with fear? And if there is any vibrations of fear within your solar plexus. They could be coming from cords and attachments from people around you. It could be stuff that you've picked up. Just breathe into the solar plexus. And as you breathe out, allow the love to shine through, and just everything else that does not vibrate on that frequency just fall away. Restoring your confidence, your inner power, allowing your sunshine to shine through you out into the world.
And now take your attention to your heart chakra and breathe comfortably in and out of your heart. This is pale pink with the purest white in the center of source love. Be aware of the 33 petals or chambers of this chakra. 33 vibrating with the Christ light. And just allow every petal to open wide now. As this happens, the angels of love, Archangel Chamuel, Mary, are pouring high frequency love into this chakra. Just feeling a radiance around you, a harmlessness, a peaceful love, creative love, every kind of love in its purest form, just filling your heart center now.
As you feel that radiation of the love within your heart center, just move your attention up to the bright, radiant royal blue of your 5th dimensional throat chakra. When you open your mouth and speak, do you speak words of positivity, words of love, words of empowerment, words of strength and unity? The throat chakra is the one physical chakra that communicates with the world around you, allows people to hear your vibration. Just check for a few moments whether any cords and any attachments within the throat, anything that may have been blocking you from speaking your divine truth as a master, as a sovereign soul on the ascension pathway. And just really feel the light, the bright blue light shining through. Decide at this moment to speak only words of empowerment and love when you open your mouth. And use your voice to inspire others around you at all times.
And then take your attention up to your 3rd eye in the center of your forehead. This is a vast chakra, moving now into a transparent, crystal clear color. It is becoming a 5th dimensional crystal ball. Have a sense of the unicorns right now, just dissolving and clearing the veils of illusion from your 3rd eye. right now, pulling them back, dissolving them, so that you can see the truth. And be aware of Archangel Raphael, the beautiful healing angel in charge of this chakra, opening it up to abundance consciousness, so that all that you need for your highest good is automatically drawn to you, opening you up to self-healing. So you automatically draw in the energy to heal every cell of your body and allow the fifth dimensional health and abundance blueprint to be placed in your third eye right now.
Now bring your attention to the top of your head, where you will find your beautiful, shining, radiant crown chakra. As you move your attention to this chakra, you may even feel tingling on top of your head as it activates. At this moment in time, you are being joined by Archangel Jophiel, who is just placing one gentle finger on top of the crown. As it does, it opens into the 1,000-petaled lotus. Now, this is the center of your mastery, your wisdom, the wisdom that will guide you forwards on your ascension process. So just feel and view that crown for a few moments. And just be aware that the vibration of your open crown is now starting to flow down into your other chakras, merging with your third eye, filling it with your wisdom, your throat, filling your voice with your wisdom, and just flowing in golden and pure white and crystalline lines down your body. And just be aware that this crown will radiate to all others around you, so they can feel your wisdom at the highest level.
And above your crown, be aware of a pure white orb. And this is your own personal moon, your causal chakra. Carries the divine feminine love. And Archangel Christiel, carrying the Christ light, is opening a door within your causal chakra that gives you total access to the angelic realms. This is your entry point to connect with the angels and the unicorns. And have a sense now of the peace that is engendered as you connect with this fifth dimensional chakra, and feel the angels and the unicorns flooding around you as you open it now.
And now gently moving your attention from the causal chakra to a beautiful, bright magenta chakra. It's roughly about 18 inches above the top of your head. Just tune into it. This is your soul star chakra. This contains all of your gifts and your talents that you have stored for many, many lifetimes as master in other times, other spaces, other dimensions. As you tune into the soul star, be aware that Archangel Mariel and Archangel Zadkiel are activating it for you now at a 5th dimensional frequency. It's a bright, radiant magenta with a gorgeous sapphire blue center. Just see it lighting up and activating now. And as it does so, it is opening for you a gateway, an access point to all of the information, all of the gifts, all of the codings that you need for your ascension pathway at this time. Feel this opening above the top of your head. And just give it permission, or give yourself permission to start accessing all of this for your pathway now.
And at this moment, you are one with your soul energy, your higher self, and are ready to take your energy up to your stellar gateway. Brilliant golden orange. And you might just feel Archangel Metatron with you right now. And this holds the energy for your I am presence, your original divine spark. And be aware of this extraordinary, universal, golden orange light radiating out and then flowing down all over you, over your entire energy bodies, all your fields, holding you in a golden orange cloak of Metatron's energy at the highest possible frequency that you can reach right now. You are a master. You are a being of the universe in the protection of Archangel Metatron.
And now just very gently start to bring your attention back to the Earth Star Chakra below the soles of your feet. Ground all this beautiful high frequency energy in. Set your vibration, set it at the pitch and the tone that is absolutely perfect for you now. Ask your Earth Star Chakra to do this. And just when you're ready, come back to where you are sat and open your eyes.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
That was beautiful. What a gift. I will live on that for, I got some kind of vision here to do that, to listen to this often.
Yeah.
That will be incredibly helpful. Working with those chakras is the kind of what we call in England the bread and butter of your ascension process. As within, so without. Whatever you are doing with the chakras will set the tone and frequency for the vibration with which you experience your ascension pathway.
Yeah,
I can see that's like the key to mastering yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And people feel that they have to sit down and do it very seriously. You can do it when you're walking in the woods, when you're standing at a bus stop. Just call in those energies and focus on them in each chakra, and do it as often as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And amazing things start to happen.
Big shifts.
I think so.
Big shifts.
I'm a person who's a lot into reminding myself, and as long as we remind ourselves of, you know, the good things, the process, the 12 chakras or whatever it is, amazing things start to happen.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
And the good thing is that we can look into this book and read more about each of the 12 expanded chakras and how to expand them, right?
Absolutely. And there are little individual meditations, visualizations for each one in the book.
Yeah.
May not be exactly the same as we've just done, but which are really perfect at that time.
Yeah.
And we did not get to talk so much about Cthulhu, Lord Cthulhu, but we will advise all the listeners to read about him in the book.
Yeah, he's
Definitely.
mighty being.
Busy boy. He is though, isn't he? So he's got a lot on his plate most of the time.
Well, he has. He's a world teacher.
Yeah.
He's in charge of bringing forward new education systems for the whole planet.
We need them, I guess.
We do.
We do. Yeah. Very much so.
Anyone working with him is also helping to do that.
Yeah.
I feel renewed and a bit of uplifted, and still, you know, a lot in my head from the meditation. I can feel that. Good. So, how do you feel?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. It's funny enough, that particular meditation, working with the 12 chakras, has been my daily focus point since 2003, since Diana first brought the information through. It was and within the 2 books that we've written together, we've expanded very much on how important they are, how vital they are basically to adopt this higher frequency energy that we're working with at the moment. And so it's I don't tend to miss it very often. It's been a work in progress.
I think it's the most important single thing to do.
Yeah. Like a stepping stone into the next level.
Absolutely. And each chakra within your body pertains to an aspect of your life that you are experiencing or you are working with. So they all correlate very much, and the book explains that in perfect detail.
Thank you. So perhaps we should call it a day there. It was a lovely ending. Is there anything you would like to say to your Swedish listeners and readers?
Read the book.
Read the book.
Embody the energy.
Embody the energy. Yeah, just it's kind of like a compendium for self-mastery. With the information, it's not just a load of information, it's how to use that information, how to actually apply it to your everyday life, and also who's working behind the scenes to assist you to do that. So it's very much just make it a daily routine. Whatever you're working with, just take on what you can, what you feel like you can, but just make sure that you get yourself a spiritual routine and include whatever raises your vibration within that routine.
Thank you. Can I it came to me during this meeting that a lot of what you are sending, at least what I pick up, is that we are now connecting the dots. The keys are here. So there have been different things coming before, but perhaps in the wrong time, or not in the same time as the next point to connect to. So where we are right now, we have lots of keys and we can actually open them, we can actually use them. Is that something that rings a bell?
Very much so.
Yes.
You've hit the nail on the head.
The
with
time
that.
is now.
Yeah, it's exactly what's going on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I would like to just wish you a lovely rest of the day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Alexandra. Thank you.
Bless you.
See you again soon.
Thank you.